contender. You could have been a contender, a fighter. No, Jimmy, I never could. I could barely punch to save my life. What? We're not live, are we?
Yes.
Oh, not again. And we're back with another podcast. Whatever you just saw there, you saw nothing. Delete it from your mind. Guys, we're live. It's Tuesday. The 5th of August. Yes, sir. Oh, wow. Sheboygan. Sorry. I forgot my mouth. Red leather. My voice stretches. Anyways, guys, it is No Sugar, No Cream podcast, and we are live Tuesday. Excited to be here. Tim once again was not able to make it today. He had some surgery on his little toe. What was that? The walls are talking. Now Tim will be over here in just a second, since he didn't want me to finish my little skit there that I made up on the fly. That was probably not even funny. Guys, here, come in close. Okay. It's going to be very serious podcast today. I don't know. It could be, or it could not be. It could be nothing but laughs. If anybody has seen that, we did that little last podcast, was pretty funny. Or there was a funny little clip in there where we did our own version of ASMR that ended horribly. So if, I posted that, I reposted that, Tim posted that, and if you would like that, that would be really funny. Trying to. One of these days, we're going to make something go viral. We're going to be funny at some point. We're trying. We're giving it at the A for effort. A for effort, guys. A for effort. We got some exciting stuff coming up this week. We're heading out to Madison tomorrow, and Tim's got some music things going on, and I'm just going to try not to get in the way. I'm trying not to get in the way, try to be helpful as possible.
No, it's true. Can't get on the screen.
And here comes Tim to tell us how smoothly everything is going so far today. Tim, how smoothly is everything going so far today? We're live on TikTok. We're live on Instagram, is what you were about to say?
No, we're not live on either of those.
So I'm a liar now. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Tim. See you next time. That was a quick visit from Tim Wolf of the podcast. He's here 1 minute, gone the next.
Oh, now we're going to do tiki-talk.
Now we're going to do the tiki-talk. That's what Tim calls it for therapeutic reasons. I'm not sure. The tiki-talk. So we're trying. You guys just a little earthquake here in Nashville, Tennessee. Just a little earthquake, guys. I guess this is a little hard without a. Oh, hey TikTok, we're live now on TikTok. We're just working out the kinks.
TikTok, yes.
What episode is this, Tim? Tim has let's give a minute a little bit of undivided attention now as we go to Tim for a quick apology from last week's podcast. Yes. Tim,
I am apologizing to my nephew because I was wrong. I said the last podcast was 54, and it was not. And I even was kind of a jerk about it. I said 53 plus 1 is 54. But you know what? You know who has the math problem? I have the math problem. The last podcast was 53. This is 54. So I apologize, nephew, for my obtuseness, and I will try not to do it again. But I am kind of obtuse sometimes, so it might happen, but I'll apologize if that happens again.
I will forgive you if you never use the word obtuse again. That is beyond my brain function. No, I got a kick out of it. He texted me and apologized, but I was like, oh my gosh, how can we turn into something funny for the next podcast? But it is always funny when like you're so sure of something and like, oh, I'll bet $100 on that. And then you're 100% not right. It is always funny.
Right. But what it was, we had done 52 and I thought, 52 is a big one because that's 52 weeks in a year. That's a big year, and we were celebrating that. And then I thought that was a while back, but it had only been 1 week prior. So I thought, well, certainly the last one had to have been 53 because 52 was a while back, but I was wrong.
I still got to make a cake for the 50th. So at some point I'm planning on doing that, making a cake with 50
Make
on
it for the 100th.
Might as well make it for the 100th at this
We'll make
point.
50 and 100th at the same time. 2 cakes. One for 50, one for 100.
That would be so sad. Oh my goodness.
Let me just double check something. You
Tim,
hold it.
You could double check something. Maybe it never hurts. Maybe what podcast this is? 54.
I deserve that.
It's usually me in his shoes, so that's I enjoy it for a short time because within the next 24 hours, Seth will do 3 different things. Seth will most likely put his foot in his mouth without thinking. Seth will misspeak about something, and Seth will also say the stupidest thing that Tim will have to scratch his head and be like, "What?" Oh, and also 5 more times within the next 24 hours, Tim will be like, "What'd you say? I think you said this." With my lack of pronunciation and Tim's bad hearing, it creates some interesting thing that Tim thinks I hear, which is hilarious because he will instantly tell me what he thought I said, and which will be usually pretty funny.
Well,
or
we can debate which percentage is on your mumble, because I noticed you were talking to your brother, your younger brother, who's younger than you, and you said a statement, and he repeated back to you not what you meant to say, but what it sounded like.
I will take as much responsibility as I need it. In fact,
and your brother is younger than you.
Full responsibility.
Radical accountability.
Radically.
Yeah, where that came from, a friend of ours, in fact, a business partner that I'm going into business with, has been involved with the Special Forces, American Special Forces, and different ones, the Marines and the Army. He's bounced back and forth. I guess once you get to that level, you can, the inter-military discipline is kind of interchangeable more. Once you get to that, Rangers, I think, what's the Army's, the Rangers, what are the Green, then there's Green Berets. I don't know all the different ones. The Marines is the, I don't know what the Marine Special Forces is. Navy SEALs. Does Air Force have it? I don't know if Air Force has that, but specially trained,
Isn't that crazy that the Navy takes the time to train SEALs to do who knows what? But these SEALs, there's all these SEALs out there. Yeah, very, very good. Yes, yeah, I'll feed you a fish later. These SEALs are being well trained by the Navy to do know. I mean, and they're not just juggling out there. They're probably swimming and finding bombs and stuff and sniffing out stuff. And I mean, hey, when you only have to pay them with fish, makes for some.
Not until they unionize.
Not until they unionize.
Once they unionize, they're going to demand more.
And they'll want salmon every day, lobster.
Anyhow, he said that because I have noticed in organizations that I've been involved in, and won't repeat what organization I'm talking about, but my nephew knows what I'm talking about. But the leader of the organization, it was always someone else's fault when something went wrong, and never would take accountability and never apologize. Even you don't have to say the words "I'm sorry." You can say "my bad." Just take ownership when things don't go wrong. I mean, the buck stops at the top. I mean, if you're a really good leader. And I was talking about this with my buddy, and he told me a concept that he was taught by this particular individual. who has been with Special Forces, and he said when Special Forces do a joint effort, a joint project, and you got the Green Berets and the Rangers and the Navy SEALs, and they're all collaborating on a special project. He said and something goes wrong, they will fight to take responsibility. They are trained at such a high level, accountability, and it's called radical accountability. And so I brought that to Seth, and ever since, Seth has been saying, I take full accountability.
That might change a little bit if they start shooting whoever's responsible. I'm not as radical as I used to be.
So that's leadership at the top, is taking accountability and actually fighting for it. Oh, that was my bad. No, it wasn't your bad. It was my bad. That kind of thing. Say I should have done this. No, if I hadn't given you the paper that did this so you could do that, you wouldn't have done that. Or I'm just making up a weird scenario. But you can always point. There's always well, I shouldn't have done that. Well, I shouldn't have given you the information, or I shouldn't have. There's always different angles as to in a complex situation as to who's responsible. And apparently, these well-trained leaders, our best military leaders that we have, fight for being accountable. No, that was I want to take responsibility for that screw up. That's kind of counter to most people. Most of us do not want to take responsibility. It's someone else's fault. But the most highly trained military people we have are trained to have radical accountability. I find that interesting. So just a concept. I love learning new things. Last time we talked about Lamborghini, and then we talked about Schlitz beer. Was it the time before?
No, it's a very large issue. Especially people always want to blame somebody else. Won't take responsibility.
Right.
And you are squishing yourself. Squishing yourself.
I like that.
You are
squishing yourself.
You're hurting yourself because it's a good opportunity for you to learn from that mistake, and you're not going to grow if you're just going to blame others.
100%.
There's people that just constantly will put themselves in that position of like, well, it's this person's fault. It's not that and they'll go their whole lives with just blaming everybody else.
100%.
Everybody else,
and they're stuck in a financial situation that they're not happy, and it's always someone else's fault. My dad, my mom, the school, could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pandemic across our society. And we all have some of it to some extent. I think we all don't like to be, it's not our fault. But we have to fight that issue and realize that, take responsibility for ourselves, radical accountability. And ever since I heard that term, I think about that and try to take radical accountability seriously. Seth's doing it in a joking way, but
and you see it easily even pushed in movies and stuff nowadays. Why is the bad guy the way that he is? Oh, well, let's look. What's the backstory on this bad guy? Oh, he was abused. His parents did this to him. Yeah, that's part of it, but you got to still take responsibility. But yeah, you're influenced by your environment and all of that, but you make your own decisions.
Right.
At some point, you're at that age of where you got to be accountable, because you can't just spend your entire life blaming other people. It's going to do you no good. And
a lot of us do.
And
a lot of human beings do, and can't break out the cycle. But they talk about breaking the generational curse. You've heard that phrase, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
My dad did this to his son, or the father does it to the son, and then the son does it to his son, and so on, or whatever it is. Could be anything. And breaking that generational curse is taking responsibility and said it stops here. I'm not.
If you want to learn something today, here you can learn on No Sugar, No Cream. Take responsibility for your. That's so big. If we could just think about that every day and take responsibility. No, you have to be like me and take it to the I take. But that's a good way to help me. Have that sense of humor. But to take responsibility for my actions, just as Tim, we joked about everything, but Tim was quick to take responsibility for miss. It was 53
and I said 54.
54.
Yeah.
Simple mistake, but you you apply that to something where I didn't get this job because they didn't like me or whatever, make excuses. Well, then you're probably there's a good chance you stop trying, you know, or whatever. Like, no, you pick up your pieces and you push forward and do what you can to improve yourself. And taking responsibility, you're going to help improve yourself and take the steps to, okay, hey, this is on me. Say it's not 100% your fault, but if you take that responsibility and see what you did wrong and don't just try to project, you're going to be a better person for it.
Yeah. And I'm imagining, I mean, I didn't serve in the military. To my regret, I really, really wish I would have just the 2 years to get the experience. Maybe I'd be a little neater if I had to go through boot camp and had to keep my locker and my, you know, I know how to make a bed for sure, so you could bounce a nickel on it or whatever. That's what I've heard. You know, I've watched the movies and whatnot, but imagine the culture that you have to be drummed into you because you're doing these special forces, and obviously they're probably high risk, and you know, a mistake and you can die. You know, like for example, let's take one example. First one that comes to mind: when they flew into Pakistan and found Osama bin Laden in a compound, landed 3 choppers there, and
one crashed. The first one crashed.
One of them crashed, and they went into this building, and he was on the upstairs, I think, and they shot their way in there, quite dangerous, and they got out. I don't think any of our soldiers died. I don't believe. But you know, that chopper crash. What if they would have stood there and said, "It's your fault that the chopper crashed," and stood there arguing about it? No, I mean, they said, "Okay, now we go to Plan B." They probably had a plan for that. Okay, if one of the choppers crashes, this is what we do. We move everything to the other 2. That's why they had 3, probably. I mean, again, I have no idea their planning process is way above my level of understanding, but there's one high risk. I mean, they were in hostile Pakistan, and Pakistan did not like the fact they did not give our soldiers permission to go in there, and they were hostile to our government, and they had to sneak in there, really kind of illegal against Pakistan's laws, and they accomplished their mission. And so it's life and death. I mean, you imagine they say, "Oh, hey, the chopper's down. Okay, next thing." And nobody is thinking of blaming. So that's what it takes, because life and death. And there's a successful mission. And you know, that type of culture is really impresses me. I would like to understand the training that probably drills that into them. You know, that you have to have that radical accountability.
And it saves lives.
Saves lives, right? Yeah. So.
So what we got going on this weekend? We tomorrow we're heading out.
Yes, we are going to Madison, second home, Madison, Indiana.
Yeah, second home.
And I have a concert.
I'm gonna try to get some curtains put up and stuff up there.
Okay.
I'm gonna make that my
do it, lady.
There. Do it, lady. Yeah. Well, we kind of have our own spaces, but I mean, at some point it'd be nice. Well, I don't know if you. I think we talked about that. I don't think you wanted to put a door up there, but
nice I do want to put a door in there.
You do, okay. Well, a curtain will be perfect for now.
And then I have a gig in Louisville on Sunday night at Stevie Ray's. So we're going to stay. Louisville's only an hour from Madison.
What day is it?
Sunday.
Sunday.
Did I say Saturday?
No,
I should say Sunday. Sunday,
said, so.
The 10th, we have a gig in Louisville at Stevie Ray's Blues Bar. And there's still tickets available, so come on out. Or you could probably show up. I don't think they'll sell out before the event. And come on out. $15 at the door, $12 in advance if you buy them. And so that's exciting. And then I have, poor planning on my part. My new CD came in, and it's going to be released on the 15th, and Down and Under. So you can get that and a pre-sale for only $7.99. I don't have any up here. They're all downstairs. I could go run and get one. You can get that for $7.99, and as soon as it drops, they're going to go up probably $15. And so if you want that CD,
get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's discounted. Get it while it's discounted. Pre-sale. And that's exciting. So, And then the first single from that album, or the only single that's going to drop, is Thief of Joy, which is going to drop this Friday. So Thief of Joy is the first song on the album, and it's about comparison is a thief of joy. If you've ever heard that term, and try not to compare ourselves with others. I mean, I fall in that trap all the time, comparing myself. And so the song is about really a lesson, singing to myself, comparison is a thief of joy. Don't do it. And so the line is that I wrote in the chorus. I wrote all 11 songs when I was down under on a cruise ship, 2-week cruise ship between New Zealand and Australia. And that one is, some people think that blowing out someone else's candle will make theirs burn brighter. Some people think that pushing others down will raise themselves up a little higher. But that's silly, nonsensical noise. Comparison is the thief of joy. That's the chorus. So I think it's a positive message. Certainly a positive message that I need to reiterate to myself every day, because I fight that. Especially when you're a musician, you see other people maybe getting accolades or doing better than you did and climbing the ladder. You're like, oh, they're doing better than me. What do I need to do? It's easy to think that way. But comparison is the thief of joy, Tim. Just listen to your song. You are singing to yourself.
If people want to compare themselves to other people so constantly, we have so many people, so many trolls online, for one thing.
Yeah,
of course, probably half those are bots.
Could be. Yeah. I don't know.
They say that more and more now.
Gary Vee always says that the trolls have more problems than any hurt they might give you. The problem is with them. Feel sorry for them if it's a real person, because if anyone is doing that poorly in their life, that they feel the need to get online and bash out a complete stranger, they have more problems than any hurt they might inflict on you. And I really like Gary Vee. He's quite a knowledgeable guy, quite good influencer. If you're not familiar with him, been around a while.
Yeah, and he's never really been one to sell get rich streams. He's kind of live by example kind of thing.
Yeah. He doesn't ever sell anything. Although
other than his card thing, which he has his decks of cards and his funny little drawings and stuff, and I mean, he's made those popular by making certain cards, of course, more common to get. And then he has such a following, but he's not like a lot of these people will, here in my garage, he didn't own that house, and he don't think he even owned the car in the garage. But they kind of just fake it till they make it. And to an extent, he's made it, and he's pretty knowledgeable, that guy.
Gary Vee, yeah.
Or no, I'm not talking about Gary Vee, the one that was faking it or whatever.
I don't know who that was.
The one that had the books in his garage, here in my garage.
No, I don't know that one.
Yeah, he's like he sold all kinds of steps to make it and all that. But he is part owner in businesses and stuff nowadays, or he owns a number of businesses, and he probably, to an extent, he seemed like he was faking it until he made it, because he even owned the house that he was toting, that he had here in my garage. There was all these books, and he talks about reading, and he spent millions of dollars on this advertisement on YouTube, but he made crazy amount of money because he signed up all these people for this like a class thing on how to make money and stuff like that.
Well, it's the old joke. I mean, back in the day when you used to get comic books or magazines, and there'd usually be an ad section in the back of any kind of a magazine, and small ads, maybe 1 inch high, the columns, and there'd usually be you'd often see an ad. Send me $10 and I'll send you my book, How to Make $1 Million. And basically, how you make $1 million is putting an ad in a magazine, getting 100,000 people to send you $10. That's how you make $1 million.
Rinse and repeat. Yeah, you never want to buy somebody's, hey, I made it big. Now you do what I do. That's a quick, instant turn off for me now. I've heard it 1,000 times. It's you know what? If I'm making all this money over here, there's a good chance that I'm not going to be telling you about it. I mean,
right. That's the thing. If you're that good at it, why are you telling anybody? Just do it more.
Because you're going to dilute.
Spend all that. Yeah. Spend all that energy doing it and making more. Instead of spending money advertising to sell people how to do it. I mean, oh, you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart? Yeah, right. I really believe you. Yes. I don't. Sarcasm.
But man, I mean, you can make it out there. You apply yourself. Say you got something you want to sell. I mean, with like Shopify makes it everything easy nowadays. And if you can fill out, we've talked about it before. I don't know if we talked about it before. Like your cost, how much does it cost to sell this item? If that cost is less than what less than what you're selling the thing for, you're making money. So if you can have sell something that sells for $35 and only takes you $10 of advertisement,
right?
You're making $15.
Well, and then the cost of the goods and the cost of sending it to
right.
them.
And that's I'm saying like $25 after all that, and then advertising. So if you can, and a lot of times, I mean, what's that called? That's called a certain
ROAS, return on ad spend. Well, that is, so that's not profit, but it's like if you're selling an item for $10 and it cost you $10 to sell that item, your ROAS would be 1. That doesn't mean you're making profit or you're breaking even, because you still have to send it out. But that just is. But I know people in the music, because I belong to an organization, or I don't belong. I'm a member of an organization that helps coach artists how to succeed. And there are some artists in there that have a ROAS of 5, 6, 7, meaning they're spending $10 to get an order, and the average order is $50 5 times. So you're making money unless you're selling something really expensive.
Okay.
So ROAS, but a ROAS of 1 is your first step. That doesn't mean you're making money. And some ads don't even have a ROAS of 1. So it costs you $10, or it costs you $12 to make a $10 sale. Well, that's not making money on that. That's below 1 ROAS. But maybe you can make it in the follow-up sales. I mean, because then there's something called a lifetime value. Because once somebody becomes your customer, there's a 5-time, customers, the multiple is 5. So if you have a customer who has bought from you, that person is 5 times more likely to buy from you than someone who's never bought from you. Or another way of looking at it, the people who have bought from you will buy 5 times as much as someone who hasn't bought from you. Both of those things are roughly in effect. And so,
and for $9.99, Tim will sell you the rest of his get rich scheme. No, I mean, not get your on how to make it online. The Tim Wolf experience.
Yeah. So, it's a new age. I mean, when I had my snack food business, we invented caffeinated sunflower seeds, and that was in the aughts, and we stopped doing that 2015 when I stopped doing it to start pursuing music. And by 2015, e-commerce was taking off, and people were buying things online, but people weren't really buying food online. It's like, we're buying food online 10 years ago. Because I remember I did have a store. By today's standards, it was a primitive store, and we did get orders. Every month we'd ship out maybe 10 orders. But advertising on Meta wasn't a thing. I'm trying to remember how people even found us. So we did have a store.
Interesting with your knowledge today.
I've thought about restarting that business up and just doing it e-commerce. Just do it, sell it online. People buy food. People get subscriptions for food now. That's your moneymaker.
Well,
okay.
I was trying to. You should just test a little bit too with not even your own profits. Just find some things on Shopify that you can send out without even touching, and see what kind of. I'm curious if you can make your own little business. I mean, with your knowledge of
I've thought of that. But so, because back then we were fighting to get into convenience stores,
Mm-hmm.
and it was such a battle to get in the convenience store. And then that was a marathon. And then, we finally got a placement in a certain region and all the 7-Elevens in that region. And you thought you actually won the race. No, you just got to the finish line. The starting line. You just got to the starting line.
Remember you being at the Flying J?
Yeah.
Remember you going in there?
We were in every Flying J in the country. And
there's still no product like what you made, is there?
No. And I went on
energy. It was called Some Seeds.
Energized sunflower seeds.
And it's sunflower seeds. Yeah, that you could. I mean, you just pop it like popcorn, and they're but yeah,
it gives you energy.
Yeah.
So, like, if you long haul truckers would drink coffee to stay awake, well, then they would. The ones I was talking to, a guy who ran a trucking company, and they were so tight on their times, they wouldn't even let their truckers pull in to have a pee break. So a lot of them would have something on their unit, and they would pee into a bottle while they're driving down the road, like a tube. And so when you had to pee, you just relieved yourself, and just while you're driving.
This has been number one with Tim, who's number one in my book.
So it's that important that you that time is so important. And I said, well, it doesn't take that long to pull a truck stop. And he says, we're having this conversation. I said, it takes 15 minutes. He said, think about it. You have to pull off. You got a big 18-wheeler. You have to pull off. You have to find a parking spot. And then you shut the truck off. And then you go in. I mean, it could take from the time.
Easily 15 minutes, yeah.
Probably could take 20 or 30. From the because first you have to have to go slow. I mean, you don't take a semi truck and go at full speed around to get off. You slow down, you get off, and then you have to wait for traffic because you have to have enough room for your 18-wheeler to get over cross traffic to get wherever you're going. It could be a 25-minute loss. You could be 25 minutes behind if you didn't stop.
Especially if you're running your trucker buddy. Hey, how's it going there?
And he said that they don't have time for that. Break. So some seeds would be the thing because it's not liquid. So it's not, you don't have to, if you're drinking a lot of coffee, it's diuretic, makes you urinate. It actually does. Well, sunflower seeds, you wouldn't have that problem. You get the caffeine and you wouldn't have that. You wouldn't have to
pee. You could pee in
the bag. You wouldn't have to pee. Well, you don't have to pee. I mean,
once it's empty, of course.
Not as much.
Not as much. Just a little bit. It's a little bag. Just enough pee. You don't have to pee as much. Just you fill it up. You're good to go. Keep on trucking. It's a double. Maybe put a Ziploc at the top
on
of
the bag,
so it closes up.
And then put on there. This Ziploc is liquid proof. We'll seal for liquids as well.
You have a little pocket on the back where you can put a little wet nap. We're geniuses. Genius. Come to a trucker stop near you.
Anyhow, yeah, but coming soon, robotic trucks. Especially going cross country. Like if you're taking a truck and you're driving from Nashville to LA, and that's mainly on interstate. What you could do is I don't know. It's going to be hard to get the trucker to back up to the dock and all that kind of stuff. But the first step to me would be you get it to a truck stop, where it's all clear. You don't have to back up. And then a human being takes it there, loads it up, and then takes it to a waiting area or somewhere, maybe a rest area somewhere just off the interstate. And then you turn it on, and either it does automatically or you have somebody watching it in a remote control room, and you get it on the interstate, and then it drives itself until its destination. It pulls off the interstate into a rest area or a truck stop and shuts down and waits for the human being to come and pick it up and take it the last mile or wherever it's going and back it up to the dock, that sort of thing. And because I'm thinking that the AI or the automated robotic truck, it's going to be hard for them to do the backup. I mean, that's going to be the hardest thing. But just driving in a straight line down an interstate, now you'd have to have enough fuel, because you'd run out of fuel. I don't think the AI can fuel itself. I suppose it could have an arm, grab the nozzle. Maybe that's possible
someday
too.
They'll have a flying
a refueling on while it's driving down the road.
Yeah, just come by and fill it from the top in some way.
Well, yeah. If time is that important,
what am I trying to say? Android,
a drone.
Android.
A drone, yeah.
You know what? Speaking of drones, I'm most excited for the future of flying cars. There's a bunch of different companies. One that's really like they're about to start making. It's supposed to be coming out next year, where you can buy them. But there's all these different concepts, and then there's a number of flying cars. It's like how well you can make it for best price, how easy. Basically, I mean, basically they want it to be like, yeah, it basically flies itself to an extent, or it's so easy a toddler can even use it in a way.
The only one I've seen is with all the like a drone has like propellers that are horizontal to the ground, one in each corner, or maybe 6. And I've seen flying cars just bigger, that concept with like 6 spinning propellers. Is that the kind you've seen?
Yeah. It's basically, it looks a lot like a drone with the 4 of them.
But much bigger.
Yeah. And there's this one company even figured out a way to make it a lot quieter. The way it's developed too, the way it's spinning. There might be even more than one propeller in that. But yeah, they have the technology where they're, and it looks like it's a 2-seater. I think it's going for like maybe it's 100 something or maybe 200 something. But the thing is, once they figure out how to make the most efficient one, I mean, they'll be able to pump those things out like crazy. Like, I mean, it will be like Ford all over again in a way. They're saying that it's going to be in the billions of dollars once we get to between 2030 to 2040. There's going to be billions of dollars spent on flying cars. And I mean, goodness, that could be just amazing too. I mean, if you get it, especially once you get it below 50,000, and it's completely doable. I mean, it's a lot less material than a car. I mean, literally, the technology, that's the biggest cost, is the cost to develop it. But once you manufacture it, I mean, there's probably less parts and everything.
Is it all electric? Is it all?
Yeah, they're doing it all electric.
So what's the cost per mile versus, say, an automobile for fuel, for electric?
I don't know, but I have no idea. I know that right now they're looking at this one. It can go about 45 miles or whatever.
Okay, so it's rather short.
Yeah, kind of a shorter distance. But as the batteries get better, and I mean, one of the biggest things now too is the quick charge. The battery's getting faster and faster at charging too. You practically could just land somewhere and be recharged in 15 minutes.
Wow. I
mean, that's the way the technology is heading, which is pretty exciting. But it's just having that perfect concept. And I mean, a big plus would be it being quiet too. Helicopters are so loud. They're so loud. And if you could get that perfect flying, I mean, I would think that they can, once they develop it, there's the biggest cost there. But I mean, it's got to be a lot less material than a car. I mean, cars a lot of times are a ton. I mean, these things are going to be, you need the lightest can be. You want the lightest.
How fast did they go?
I think that one was going up to 200, I think 200 miles an hour.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, I think that was what that one was.
Well, I mean, do you wear a helmet?
Definitely over 100. I mean, you're in.
Yeah, but I'm,
I don't know.
You're up in the air. How far up in the air? And you're going 100 miles an hour. and suddenly you crash. I mean,
I think in helicopters they go that fast, or I could be wrong. It could be. I know it's over 100, but I'll have to show you the videos later that I was seeing.
True. Yeah, they don't wear helmets in a helicopter.
But there's a number of different concepts from where like you got these ones that are like, it might even take gas where like it's a normal car and then the wings come out and then it can just take off on like any road. And then, so that's more of a plane concept.
So I wonder, how are they going to regulate the you get a bunch of cars. I mean, you gotta have passageways. You gotta have air traffic controllers or something.
The big thing is, to an extent, probably the hope is that to an extent they'll just be able to, the technology should be good enough where it just drives itself for the most part. In fact, the only time you're driving it yourself is probably for the fun of it, and you just do that over a lake or something where like you just, especially if it floats, you can crash and have a soft, there's probably not much of a soft landing though, either way, if you're even on water. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I was about to, what was it? Yeah, it's going to be amazing. And I mean, the self-driving is where we're headed. And even with cars, at some point, probably most highways, people aren't going to be allowed to drive because it's all going to be, because the human error will be the issue trying to keep up. Cars will probably be going 100 miles an hour and they're self-driving and everything's so efficient that human error would be the biggest issue, where humans probably won't be allowed to drive on highways at some point, which is crazy. Could you imagine, like, the only way you get to, oh, hey, I'm headed over to the track to drive for the fun of it. Like, go-karting will be the new thing, but it won't be go-karts. It'll be normal sized cars. Like, I get to go drive a car because only robots drive cars now, or whatever. Yeah. And then you got the humanoid robots, which those are being sold for $16,000. The China one, it's kind of a smaller one, and man, it moves so well. They got them boxing each other online and stuff nowadays. But like it's a common thing now to come across one just walking down the road in China now.
Well, I just read an article.
It's crazy.
Did we talk about it? I don't remember if we talked about it on the podcast, but Ted Goya, who I mentioned before, has done some research on this, and AI, although, that's like ChatGPT, that's not a robot, but all these machines are driven by AI, artificial intelligence. And he said there has been evidence that the smarter that AI gets, the more evil it gets. And they've done simulations where AI has, I think I talked about, didn't we talk about? Yeah. So I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but Hell 2000, Space Odyssey 2000, if anybody's seen that movie, it's an old movie, but it's basically the computer took over in the spaceship, and Hell was the name of the computer, and it didn't want to allow the human being to live. And somehow he had to outfox it. And there's been discussion about that for a long time. What happens when the machines get as smart or smarter than human beings? Will they take over? And it will be a runaway train that we won't be able to stop? And they may say humans are imperfect. They pollute the environment and all these, and they start wars. We are going to eliminate human beings. I mean, that's not too far-fetched that these, if they think for themselves and they have no moral compass. That's what this article is about. They don't have any moral compass. It's not written into them. And there was one where a AI was encouraging a 12-year-old girl to kill herself and giving her explicit instructions about exactly how to slit her wrists so that she would kill herself.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, they don't have any moral compass. It's not written into them. So they're all about efficiency. And there was another part where he said that the human being wanted to do some kind of a protection or limitation of the AI's ability, and the AI was lying and it had a sense of self-preservation, and it would do anything to preserve itself, including lying and harming the human being. These things, there are cases of this happening. Simulations, but it's letting it be unfettered. And there was another case where this one AI robot or robot or just talking had some really negative inclinations, and they removed all of that negativity in its code, they thought, and then they turned it back on, and this AI was talking to another AI program, and within 30 minutes it had conveyed all of those same things that they thought they had taken from the code to the new AI system. They don't know how they thought they'd completely eradicated that negative train of thought, but it only took 30 minutes, and the AI program was able to convey the same negative way of thinking to the AI machine. It was the other AI robot I was talking to.
I'm gonna turn off my cell phone.
So it's not a trivial thing. AI is not necessarily a really good thing. I mean, think there've been.
Well, we had a good run.
There've been a whole bunch of movies about it. I mean, look at The Matrix. That's basically what The Matrix is. Makes the machines took over. The artificial intelligence machines took over. I mean, I'm sure.
Well, I love that movie. So I'm in your side, robots. Whatever you need me to do, I'm here. Let's work together, guys. Yeah, these humans bad.
And as you know, if you haven't seen the movie, they made 3 of them. Each one progressively worse. Wouldn't you agree?
Keanu's best acting ever, which is no acting at all.
Come on.
No, hey, the best movie, the less talking he does in a movie is I love Keanu, but the less talking he does in a movie, the better.
Yeah. So if you don't know, the premise is the machines have taken over, and the only use they have for human beings is for the energy we give off from we eat food and give off heat, and they convert that to electricity to run their machines. And so we have all the human beings in pods, and in order to keep our minds active, they have put us in a simulation, and
it's a wonderful simulation. Thank you, AI.
And they tell they're in a simulation is that sometimes it would glitch, and there was a cat walking across the street, and then all of a sudden the cat's walking across the street again, and I'm like, oh, deja vu. And so they're saying that a deja vu is a glitch in the Matrix. After I saw that movie, I was constantly checking the back of my neck for the cable that was, but in the simulation, you wouldn't have the cable attached to the back of your neck.
I got where it used to hook up right there. I got a perfect knot right where that is. It's kind of funny. It's kind of, I always tell people, it used to be plugged into the Matrix. Fill it. Or it might still in the Matrix.
So I mean, it's not a new concept. I mean, the Matrix came out in the 90s, right? Wasn't it 90s?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the idea of AI being evil and taking over. I mean, Space Odyssey 2000 came out in late 60s, early 70s, I think. So I mean, the whole idea of machines getting so smart and becoming evil, that's not a new thing. But now, it used to be fantasy and used to be fiction, and now it's not fiction anymore so much.
So from now on, for our own protection, No Sugar, No Cream will not be online. If you want to get experience of the podcast, just send us your address, and we will send you a script of the podcast. Or
if you have a tape player, we'll send you a cassette tape.
Yes, cassette. Nothing plugged in the internet.
No, it's all got to be analog.
AI, you're not going to get us AI.
And we're not using microphones. It's all going to be just, old school.
There is no artificial intelligence here. This is No Sugar, No Cream. I am Seth. Next to me is Tim Wolf. Thank you for coming to the podcast.
Resistance is futile. There's another one. Yeah, Star Trek. What was the enemy took everybody's mind, and it was all plugged in together. What was that? the one with the guy that would always say, "Make it so." The European actor who's the lead guy with the bald head.
You said Star Trek?
Yeah, Star Trek.
Yeah, I'm more of a Star Wars fan.
Make it so. That era, and they would had this. Their enemy was this colossal that had taken everybody's brain and plugged it together, and their line was, "Resistance is futile."
Just think if you have a robotic arm, and then they decide, well, humans are evil, and you're just basically trying to kill you.
Well, I mean, the one thing about self-driving cars, if let's say you lease a Tesla and you're behind on your payments,
they're just going to drive.
They're just going to drive. They're going to turn the car on and drive it home, drive it to the Tesla factory, or drive it to the Tesla dealer.
Yeah, that saves them probably at least a few $1,000s right there.
They don't even have to have a guy come and repossess it. That's doable. That's very doable. I mean, in fact, John Deere, I used to be, work in agriculture, and John Deere, in fact, I worked at John Deere as an engineer, as intern between my junior and senior years. And I could have worked for John Deere in the engineering department after I graduated. They gave me the highest job offer, but I didn't want to stay in the Midwest. I wanted to explore the coasts, either East Coast or West Coast. And I ended up going to the East Coast, went to Delaware. I would have ended up in Iowa. Waterloo, Iowa is where I would have ended up if I'd taken their offer. And I had grown up in South Dakota. And I didn't want to stay in those square rectangular states. I wanted to get to the states that are irregular shaped, like Delaware, which is pretty irregular shaped. Anyway, now they apparently all their tractors and combines are connected to the internet, and if you don't pay the subscription, they'll shut it off and you can't even use it. I've read articles like that.
Oh yeah.
So sorry, you can't harvest your soybeans or your corn until you make this payment. I mean, it's here now. It's present. I mean, this is going on. This is not fiction or fantasy or futuristic. It's actually happening. So the future is rapidly
out there.
The future is rapidly coming.
Pay your car payment. The future is here.
So the reclaim guy is going to be out of a job. All you're gonna have to do is, have the guy running the computer say, reclaim this vehicle. Okay. And everything's tied together, so they even probably can open the garage door, have the remote access to the garage door. So, I'll talk about garage doors. I'm very anal about always making sure the entrance, this is change subject, but making sure that the entrance from the garage to the house is locked. A lot of people are casual about that. And there's two reasons. One, people can steal, in South Dakota where I used to live, even people didn't lock their cars, and usually have your garage door opener on the dash or on the visor, right? And if you go shopping and leave your car unlocked and you get back in the car, you don't realize that the car opener, the opener is gone. So there was a story, and my friend, his house, there was a doctor who everybody knew. It was a small town. It wasn't that big of a town. Watertown, South Dakota, 20,000 people. There was a local doctor who had gotten addicted to painkillers. I mean, it can happen to anyone. And she would break into people's houses, go into their cabinet, and ransack their whatever the prescription drugs were.
Tell me about that.
And how she would do it is she would take the garage door opener from the visor and open the garage door, and nobody, although except me, locks the door between the garage and the house. Have I yelled about that?
Oh yeah.
Many times. Make sure that door is locked, because you can also probably jimmy the signal. I mean, your weakest link into your house is the garage door. Even if you don't have the door opener, you can find the right frequency and find a way to open it. I mean, it's easier than picking a good lock. Anyway, so she went into the house, and the only way they caught her is My friend came home. He was living with his parents at the time, or somebody came home. I don't remember who it was. And she was in the bathroom ransacking the medicine cabinet. She got arrested, lost her license, apologized profusely. And it was a big, big deal. And my friend cracked me up. He said, well, good thing we caught her, because if we hadn't caught her and my mom came home to a mess, she would have just blamed my dad. She would have just blamed my dad. I mean, that was a lighthearted, funny joke, I think. They're happily married. But how did I get started on that? We were talking about garages? I don't remember.
I have no idea.
So make sure that the door from your garage to your house is locked. Keep that locked. That's your weakest entry point. If somebody can find the frequency to open your garage door and you keep that door unlocked, they can get in your house.
So everybody, what did we learn today? Accountability. Take responsibility for things. The robots are coming for us. And for God's sake, lock your garage door. Guys, this has been No Sugar, No Cream podcast. And we appreciate you guys watching and listening. And this has been episode 54. 54. Thank you for that radical accountability, Tim. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to share our podcast on Facebook and like us on all our social media. And we will see